Ladies and gentlemen, it is a great pleasure to join you today at the 27th Capital Link Invest in Greece Forum. Greece today is recognized as a success story, the result of consistent economic policy, restored credibility, and growth rates that outpace the Eurozone average. The tourism sector is a vital pillar of the Greek economy and continues to drive our nation forward with exceptional resilience. Over recent years, we have witnessed the full expression of the sector's strength, creativity, and adaptability. Greece now ranks among the top 10 most visited travel destinations in the whole world. In 2024, our country welcomed over 40 million visitors, including cruise passengers. Tourism receipts reached an all-time high of 21.6 billion euros, marking a second consecutive record. And this positive trajectory continues to gain strength. This year, 2025, from January through September, arrivals increased by 4% and tourism revenues by an even stronger 9% compared to the same period of 2024. Receipts directly from incoming tourism are now on track to surpass 22 billion euros, which will be a new milestone for Greece. We have also welcomed a record number of visitors during the winter and so-called shoulder months, which is a clear increasing evidence that travelers seek experiences across the country and well beyond the peak season, which is the summer. These figures reflect a growing appreciation for Greece's richness, diversity, and authenticity. They're also the outcome of a well-elaborated tourism policy and the dedication of our people, our businesses, and our communities. Looking ahead, we not only see strong performance, but strong potential. Continued success gives us both confidence and responsibility to plan strategically, to innovate, and to elevate the visitor experience. Worldwide tourism is undergoing rapid changes. Travelers' expectations are evolving, demographics are shifting, digital innovation is accelerating, competition is intensifying, and of course, the climate crisis introduces challenges that require long-term planning and coordinated action. For these reasons, the Greek government has adopted a proactive, forward-looking tourism strategy. Our vision is clear: to build a sustainable, resilient, and competitive tourism model that expands economic opportunity while protecting our natural and cultural resources. Our goal is qualitative growth. The three fundamental goals of our strategy include, first of all, enriching our tourism offering, secondly, highlighting lesser-known yet equally captivating destinations, and thirdly, extending travel throughout the year and across every region of our country. We aim to highlight Greece's unique identity and ensure that visitors enjoy diverse, meaningful, and unforgettable experiences. To support this vision, our recent initiatives have focused on facilitating investment and simplifying licensing procedures. We are focusing on key sectors such as maritime tourism and wellness, as well as niche hospitality segments. These include condo hotels and integrated resorts that combine hotels, private residences, and specialized tourism infrastructure. A key mechanism in our effort is the Ministry of Tourism's one-stop shop, which was established in 2013. This dedicated structure promotes new opportunities, streamlines approvals, and supports large-scale investments. It is actively contributing to the capital inflows we see today with clear results. In the past decade, the number of five-star hotels in Greece has more than doubled. This is an achievement that reflects both investor confidence and demand for high-end tourism experience. Yet our investment horizon extends well beyond the hospitality sector. There are many opportunities for investing in tourism facilities such as state-of-the-art yacht marinas, next-generation wellness and thermals facilities, and themed experiences designed for diverse market segments. To accelerate this transition to the new era of tourism, we are strategically utilizing EU Recovery and Resilience Facility funds to upgrade infrastructure, improve accessibility, and integrate technological achievements. Major projects are now underway, including upgrading yacht marinas, ski centers, diving sites, as well as thermal tourism facilities, aiming to diversify our tourism portfolio and enhance the overall tourism experience. Another important initiative aims to improve accessibility to Greece's coasts and beaches, ensuring inclusivity and expanding the reach of our tourism offerings. Now, just as critical to the future of tourism is digital innovation. Technology, especially artificial intelligence, is transforming how destinations are managed, how travelers search, plan, and book, and how businesses design and deliver services. AI is becoming a driver of new revenue streams and new forms of engagement. Greece is embracing this transition in a deliberate and strategic way. The Ministry of Tourism is developing new digital tools that showcase the diversity of Greek tourism, especially in thematic and niche segments. New platforms dedicated to mountain tourism, wellness, diving and yachting, gastronomy and wine tourism will help travelers explore Greece in new ways. In the same spirit, our flagship project is the full redesign of the visitgreece.gr platform. The new version will incorporate AI technology and augmented reality applications, offering an improved user experience and seamless access to travel information. But even as technology reshapes tourism, we remain grounded in an essential truth. Tourism is, above all, about people. The professionalism and dedication of our tourism workforce are among Greece's greatest competitive strengths. In order to empower the people who drive the sector, we have modernized the framework governing tourism education. Additionally, we have launched comprehensive upskilling and reskilling programs for thousands of tourism professionals. These initiatives will ensure that our workforce is prepared for a rapidly changing global market and that Greek hospitality continues to shine. Ladies and gentlemen, Greece is advancing with confidence, embracing new ideas, investing in infrastructure and people, and building long-term value for communities, travelers, and businesses alike. Today, our country offers a mature yet dynamic investment environment marked by political stability, a modern regulatory framework, and an evolving tourism product. As our Prime Minister, Mr. Kyriakos Mitsotakis, recently stated, our ambition is to become the top travel destination in the world in terms of service of quality. Greece stands ready to lead in a new era of sustainable and resilient tourism. With a clear strategy, a dedicated government, and a robust investment landscape, the foundations for lasting success are firmly in place. We welcome all those who share this vision of an industry that drives economic prosperity and long-term sustainability to join us in shaping the next phase of this remarkable journey. Thank you very much for your attention.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome and thank you for joining us. My name is Yiannis Kantas, partner at Koutalidis law firm. and it's a privilege to open this panel on Greece's hospitality industry, a pillar of growth and global appeal. At Koutalidis Law Firm, working closely across the sector, we see every day how hospitality in Greece is rapidly evolving. In fact, hospitality in Greece is more than an economic activity. It's a defining element of our national identity and the driver of investment, employment, innovation, and regional development. Greek philoxenia remains our strongest asset, and the sector's resilience over the recent years has shown its ability to adapt, from sustainability and upgrade infrastructure to digital transformation and new forms of experiential travel. Today, hospitality operates as an ecosystem linking connectivity, real estate, culture, innovation, and national strategy. That is why bringing together leaders from aviation, development, and tourism policy is so valuable. Their perspective gives us a complete picture of where Greece stands and what is required for long-term competitiveness and growth. So I'm honored to moderate this discussion and look forward to the insights our distinguished speakers will share. So without further ado, let me now introduce our esteemed panelists. It's a privilege to have together with us Mr. Yiannis Paraschis, Managing Director of the Athens International Airport and President of the Greek Tourism Confederation, Mr. Orfanos, Partner and Head of Capital Markets in Colliers, Greece and Cyprus, and last but not least, Mr. Andreas Fiorentinos, Secretary General at the Greek National Tourism Organization. So let's begin from the aviation side, being the first point of contact a visitor has with our country. Mr. Paraschis, Greece has experienced an impressive rebound with record-breaking tourism years in 2024-2025. From an aviation standpoint, how do you interpret this momentum? And mindful of the challenges lying ahead, what should the aviation side and the entire ecosystem take to address these challenges and secure the next phase of growth?
Thank you. Thank you very much for this introduction. Thank you for inviting us to this Capital Link Forum. I was here, last time I was here, it was back in 2010, and very different circumstances. So we are talking about 3 years of continuous success. 23, 24, 25 are the best years of Greek tourism. I think Greek tourism is a very important pillar of the Greek economy, and it particularly important because it supports the two areas where the Greek economy is still lagging behind. You heard the excellent performance when it comes to debt, when it comes to public deficit, unemployment, and so forth. However, there are two structural weaknesses still to be managed. The one is the investment gap, and the other is the current account balance deficit because of the trade deficit. I think here is where tourism comes in and covers 2/3 of the country's trade deficit. Now, therefore, when we talk about the outlook for tourism, it is very important to make sure that this is a key and remains a key pillar in the country's economic development model. When we talk about aviation, obviously 2/3 of visitors to the country come in by plane, and therefore the total ecosystem of aviation in the country is key to the tourism and travel industry's success. I think we have gone, we are a country in the European periphery, and we have done over the years, and despite of the Greek crisis, extremely well as a total ecosystem. We've seen in last years the privatization, the growth of our airlines and our home-based airlines, like Aegean, recently Sky Express, also a very aggressive, let's say, growing player in the market. We've seen the airports, privatizations, not only in Athens, but also the regional airports, and an upcoming intention of the Hellenic Company of Asset Participations, the Growth Fund, to also address the issue with the 22 smaller regional airports. So I think compared to where the European periphery stands, Greece is currently at an excellent position. At the same time, the country has been able to attract significant number of long-haul connections. Connectivity has improved. In Athens in particular, from the 21st position in the European context to the second in terms of connectivity, number of destinations that can be reached. Just to use the example of the US, this year we had 108 weekly connections into 9 destinations in the US, something which is unprecedented. Obviously, we need more investment to be able to cope with the growth, not only in the aviation system. I would say the issue of investments remains, and in utilities in general, is a significant challenge for the country, being it ports, being it marinas, being it other parts of the system, treating water, waste and the likes, particularly on the Greek islands. So when it comes to the Athens airport, we take this very, very seriously, and we have embarked on a program of well above €1 billion in expanding our facilities.
So, thank you, Mr. Paraschis, for this great contribution. Now, let's bring in the real estate dimension. Ioannis, what do the past 12 months reveal about investment and transactional activity in Greece's hospitality market, both in terms of deal pace compared to recent years, as well as to the presence of new international investors?
First of all, thank you for this very interesting discussion and the invite. Look, we all understand that there are certain markets that the interest is bigger than others. So, obviously, hospitality market has been attracting and is attracting the majority of the foreign capital investment in Greece in terms of real estate investments and institutional large real estate investments. And we did a study because of, I think we were presenting to the investment side a month ago in Canada, in Toronto, especially Greek diaspora, and we're trying to put together some numbers just to show the potential. And we show that since 2020, if I'm not mistaken, around 5 billion euros of transaction worth of a certain size and above have materialized in Greece, 5 billion euros. And there was a partner there from our local office in Canada, and he said that the annual investment volume in Canada is around 1.5 to 2 billion euros for hotel investment. So suddenly, for the first time, I felt that we are talking about a really big market. And this is not accidental that we have managed to attract big players, those big players out of the US private equity players, institutional capital, as well as other hoteliers in Greece, and they're looking for opportunities. However, what has happened, especially in the last 12 months, is that that interest hasn't been materialized in a lot of transactions. There have been cases whereby, obviously, we have seen these players entering the market, but with that interest, we should be doing much more in terms of value-add investments, not so much opportunistic, because we have, obviously, we are another phase now. We're past the NPL cycle, and we're in the phase of growth, of building or improving existing assets, of expanding existing assets. And we have also seen that the local players, the local healthy hotel groups are also active, and they're buying, and they're investing. And as a result, and that's very, very positive, and that's to those in this room who are not familiar with the Greek market and they are afraid to come because of all the stereotypes they have heard in the past, is that all international investors who have entered in the market haven't lost any money. They have the majority have actually made very, very good returns. But nobody has lost money, even those who made some strategically bad decisions, not so much the Greek market, rather than their investment. They all managed to get their money back, which is not very common, as we have seen in other markets, especially in Europe. And that has created the confidence for more players to come in. The confidence that in Greece, for the first time, you have an exit, local or international. You do have a buyer. You do have, you're making money. You're making very good returns. And as we are discussing today, the prospects of the tourism, of this project of the hospitality sector, and not just because more people will come and more people would love to spend their time in Greece, and maybe the increase in seasonality as well, but also the investments that are focusing on all the things that matter, infrastructure, connectivity, and so on. And one last point, because it's very important to mention that, is that obviously what happened is that some local so-called sellers tried to take, as always, that's not a phenomenon only in Greece, but generally speaking, advantage of the situation, tried to sell properties, but they were not really selling. So these guys are not doing good, because the interest is there, but then the transaction is not happening. So we need to be very careful, and that's what we do. When there is something in the market, it should be in the market and not trying to test the market. We did that in the past. It didn't work very well for us. We should not repeat those mistakes, and we should just be focusing on all those investments that make sense, and people need that additional capital to move on.
Okay, thank you. Thank you very much, Ioannis. So we see that investment is clearly accelerating, but unlocking its full impact depends on how fast institutions and destinations adapt, and especially in technology. So let me turn to the policy side and ask Mr. Fiorentinos, how is digital transformation from AI to data-driven tools redefining the visitor experience? And what does this mean for the sector's key challenges and opportunities ahead?
Thank you for giving me the chance to be able to tell you what's going on in Greece now. And for the past 5 years, basically, things are completely different. Greeks are very keen into anything that's innovative, what's new in tourism. Artificial intelligence is one of the challenges, but it's not something new for us. And I want to give you a good example to understand how we are adapting really quick and how we're making that new technology to our advantage. As far as the hospitality is concerned, you understand that people-to-people experience cannot be reciprocated with something else. So that is very important to have in the back of our mind. In the years of COVID, for instance, Greece remained open to the US market. And it remained open through an application that our Prime Minister envisioned and his team, an application with a barcode that will tell you your condition at the moment and will allow you to be able to treat it or travel. That really kept Greece in the game. Supporting the airlines was another initiative. But today we have 103 weekly flights into Greece. And the reason is because we were able to utilize new technology to achieve our goals. So it is very important now to go ahead with artificial intelligence and make the procedure and the experience of the tourist much more friendly than in the past. We see from our stakeholders around the globe that we deal with and we speak with that they're very keen also in using artificial intelligence to make themselves more efficient in selling the product. As far as we are concerned, the Greek National Tourism Organization, and the minister earlier said it very nicely, we are digitalization era is coming to the GNTO also, and the Visit Greece application we have, which by April 2026 will be fully usable, and you'll be able to take the tourist that's interested into coming into Greece from the procedure of choosing the destination and making the reservation all the way through. We'll walk them all the way through all the experiences during their trip. And not only that, at the end of the day, we could also have a loyalty program that will come out of this use of new technology to people that repeatedly choose Greece as a destination.
Thank you very much, Mr. Fiorentinos. That was very informative. So it is clear that these initiatives further strengthen and expand tourism, but the question is, how does this opportunity interact with the sector's wider future challenges. And for instance, coming back to you, Mr. Paraschis, sustainability is becoming a defining factor for competitiveness in aviation. How is Athens International Airport putting this into practice, and what does this mean for Greece's long-term resilience and global positioning?
Thank you. Well, I think in the European context, at least, the issue of sustainability is a very crucial one. And I think, in simple terms, sustainability means not to focus on short-term profits and compromise long-term prosperity in economic prosperity, social prosperity, and environmental. And I think the idea of tourism in general goes hand in hand with these principles of protecting, particularly in a country like Greece, protecting the environment, being able to work together with the local communities. Greece is a place where there is a clear interface, let's say, of the visitor with the local communities. Greece is not a place where you go and get being enclosed in a resort. You have the freedom and the safety and the security to travel, but also the pleasure to interface with the local communities. So I think it is very, very crucial for all of us that have the skin in the game to ensure that we do whatever we can and whatever is within our powers, let's say, to improve the sustainability profile of the Greek tourism product. Greece, in the European context, is not scoring very well for the time being when it comes to sustainability, so we have space to improve there. I think from an aviation perspective, and particularly when it comes to, there is a lot of things that you need to be aware and to cope with, and these are local elements like quality of air around an airport, quality of the water, the noise issues, and so forth. But the most critical and most pressing issue these days is the climate crisis and the impact of our businesses on the climate. And here we are very proud to say that we have been on the forefront of what airports are doing globally in sustainability terms, and we have launched and committed to a program back in 2019 to be the first major airport in Europe and worldwide that will produce all its energy from clean sources on site through photovoltaics, and also respective ability to store energy through batteries, which are the so-called Scope 2 emissions, the indirect emissions that we account for, and at the same time to replace all fossil emissions, Scope 1 emissions, through electrified fleets, through electrical heat pumps, and so forth. This is a program that we have implemented despite COVID over the last 6 years. And we are in a very, very pleasant position to press the button on the 12th of December, so in a few days, being net zero, 25 years ahead of the industry commitment to become net zero by 2050. So this is a very clear signal of what can be done in the country, not to be just followers and adopters, but front runners, and which is a clear sign that Athens, in particular, that we are serving as a catchment area, is not only a premium destination and a premium city break destination in recent years with 12 months of tourism, but also a sustainable destination. Which gives it not only an ethical advantage, but we are sure that this is also a business case, not for us as the airport, but also for the destination as a whole.
Thank you very much, Mr. Paraschis, for your great contribution. Now, getting back to the real estate perspective, Ioannis, how's investor and hotelier demand shifting geographically, and what signs do you see of diversification beyond Greece traditional destinations?
This is a very good question because in the markets, Greece has been, I mean, it's Athens, obviously, but people are looking at specific destinations like Crete, Rhodes, Corfu, and so on, and therefore they're missing a lot of opportunities elsewhere. I don't know, the majority of you in this room, I'm sure they have been to other fantastic places that they deserve also investment or more investment. And Greece has, I would say, something that everybody's using, a phrase that has been overused, but it does have a competitive advantage compared to other competitive markets in the Mediterranean or in Mediterranean base and elsewhere. So because when you choose Greece, you obviously choose it, you're not choosing an island from an island, but you're choosing a country from another country. And Greece has the potential that Spain doesn't have. In terms of islands, Italy obviously doesn't have other destination, that it has so many places to go. And as a result, what we have seen, and that's very important, and that's what we feel it's growth, that's what growth is about. And obviously, within a sustainable urban framework or sustainable urban development framework, obviously, is that driven mostly by local investors or local hoteliers, established local hoteliers, with the support of the Greek banks, we should say that, through RRF program, the Recovery and Resilience Fund, who supports the Greek banks towards new developments. We have seen capital going to destinations like Kos, Chalkidiki, okay, Zante, but also Peloponnese, South Peloponnese, not only South Peloponnese, but also capital that goes to places like Portocheli, as an example. Now more capital is looking at Epirus, which is very important, and so on. Thessaloniki is becoming as well an interesting destination. And at the end of the day, we do need to think a bit more about prolonging the season and think Greece is mountainous, wellness, gastronomy plays a role, and more investments are looking at this. It doesn't need to be full year round, but definitely to cover for the so-called summer season. In terms of what kind of product, and that's very interesting, and I think the minister spoke about it, we see more and more integrated resorts, mixed-use resorts, with a lot of experiential elements. And when I say mixed use, for people to understand, we're talking about either integrated with marinas, branded residences, branded apartments, either activity-based sports like golf courses, or obviously other activities that have to do with agri-tourism, with gastronomy, as I mentioned. And those integrated resorts, and I have seen the pipeline, we're advising a lot of these projects, either from an underwriting perspective or investment perspective. It's the future, because by creating these branded resorts, these branded residences, hotel resorts, is actually not only are you bringing an investment product to the so-called high net worth individuals in terms of buying, but a lot of these people will come, would like to stay there as a second home, or even as the main residence, because especially in Athens we see this kind of projects. And these people, what is happening is, especially if they are businessmen, they're actually bringing ideas to Greece. So when a guy who was used to work in Google and he was doing, he decided to actually move back to Greece, he created not only a small ecosystem for startups. The same goes for others we have seen who are going back to Greece, and they pick up the phone and say, what can I do here? And that, it's a positive cycle, if I may say so. So this type of investments, and I'll finish here, cannot happen without investment in infrastructure, in connectivity. So the infrastructure investment, the infrastructure pipeline, and the so-called real estate tourism investment need to go hand in hand. The same goes for energy, waste, water, because you cannot build something that cannot have electricity and cannot treat waste and doesn't have water, especially because the majority of the new investments have a lot of, the water element is very important. We're very positive, and the fact that the local market is the one who is driving that investment, that's the way forward, is that if the locals are investing, that means the international capital will follow. So.
Great. Thank you. Thank you very much, Ioannis. So it's clear that emerging destinations bring opportunity, but also responsibility. So getting back to you, Mr. Fiorentinos, how can Greece align sustainable tourism practices with season extension, product diversification, and the promotion of lesser-known destinations?
Well, the trend, you know, is slow tourism, where people would like to go and deflate from everyday, hectic life they live in the big cities. And Greece is the authentic choice in this. And it's the authentic choice not because it was actually implemented or it makes sense to be part of something. It's our culture. So Greece, in a great extent, is sustainable. It always has been a priority. And at the same time, we're trying to have a resilient product and also take in consideration the capacity of their destinations. We believe that all this that I mentioned do protect the destination. They respect the environment and the businesses that choose to be in Greece. The strategic planning, as the minister said earlier, is how we're going to make Greece known to the rest of Greece, known to the world, besides the emblematic destinations that we all know. Why are we basically pushing this a lot? And the Prime Minister is very smart about this. He has allocated over 400 million euros from the Resilient and Recovery Fund into modernizing infrastructure all across the board in Greece. So it's more friendly for people to visit the rest of the country. I'll give you an example to understand what we mean the rest of the country. The British market, which is either one or two source markets for us, the UK market, goes traditionally to only 6 destinations in Greece. Repeatedly, their product, their airlines, they go to 6 destinations. While the Germans, for example, that are number 1 at the moment, go to 12 destinations. So what we're trying to do is diversify the brand, the product, enrich it in many ways, and try to move ahead from the sun and sea model, which is very seasonal. So if we are able to disperse the tourists to the rest of the country, we're going to have even better results in incoming tourism and in revenue. I forgot to mention earlier that right now there is a program of 7.5 euros running to digitalize, that's a difficult word, the Greek National Tourism Organization and the site Visit Greece, which is very important. Also, what we must know, because I feel proud for it, I heard it yesterday with Mrs. Kerameus at the rebranding, Pharos, which is an AU factory company, is one of the 7 that was chosen within the EU to explore ways to integrate artificial intelligence with the industry, with health, with tourism, which is very important, and it shows the direction the country is moving. That's all. I don't want to take more time.
Thank you, Mr. Fiorentinos. So we're really running close on time. A closing statement, a brief closing remark from each one of you, please, to stay in schedule.
Well, I think we've created a very strong brand during the pandemic. We have seen very significant growth. We are the positive outlier in the European context. And the very good news, I think, is that all the stakeholders in the industry, government, private sector, local authorities, and the citizens and stakeholder groups, we are, I think, in Greece now converging to a common narrative, which is a great thing for Greek tourism and its future.
from my side. I think we are at a stage whereby the future looks great, looks investable, and we need to diversify, not in terms of only location, but product, and also on what we want to offer to the rest of the market, which hasn't really visited Greece yet. The future looks bright, sunny, but also when it's not sunny, we still need to bring people to Greece.
The future looks bright because of all of you and how well you were prepared to inform the people that Greece is changing. And I want you to keep in mind two numbers. About 15 to 20 years ago, we had about 13 million income in tourism and about 10 billion in revenue. Today, we've surpassed 22 billion in revenue and over 40 million guests. So come to Greece because Greece is the authentic choice.
So a big thank you to our speakers and to all of you. Thank you.